Kellee and Sean Malone are with us. They're actually and actively on the front lines.
We are
Both.
fighting the fight.
So here's the issue is guys like me, I can get all this data coming into me and I kind of cull it down and share data. And a lot of it is national data. We do get some local data and I follow the local data. But the bottom line with all of that is, what does it mean to you? Well, it doesn't tell you that in Temecula, where you guys are from, and I see your postings, you get some of the same reports that I do.
Yes.
Talking about average days on the market is 76.
Right.
Right. So I could talk about what the national numbers are, but if you're wanting to move to Temecula, if you're wanting to leave Temecula, you need to talk to a professional.
Correct. Yes.
Right. Because you're out there. You probably know these numbers before they even hit these wires that we all get.
Yeah, we're feeling it.
So are you seeing people, what's the market like, I guess is the best way to start?
The market is soft right now. There's
which that in itself is something, because half the time you talk to a real estate professional, oh, it's great.
Yeah, burning hot.
Or it's amazing.
Well,
but it's not true.
Look, the reality is this time of year it definitely slows down. I mean, that's the norm. But we're saying, besides the fact that people are dropping their prices, buyers have slowed their searches. They're waiting for the rates to come down. We just did an open house on Sunday, and buyers that came through, they were, they're waiting out the market. They're looking for the best deal. They want to offer $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 below the list price. So, we'll wait till January. We'll wait till January. So we're seeing a lot of people on the fence, buyers that have sold their property. They were, had their property for sale, sold it, are renting and sitting on their cash. A lot of that.
Wow, sitting on cash.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So do you see the prices dropping a lot?
The prices are coming down across the board in
But
our area.
Is it enough to make up for like I just shared over time of 40, if real estate prices go up 4%?
No, but look, we're being told you marry the house, you date the rate. Right.
Okay.
So we're still talking about opportunity for buyers. You're still able to buy the properties. And again, there's discounts. We had a seller discount property $300,000. We had another one discount the property $100,000. So although the rate is higher and they're going to pay more for the monthly payment, overall they're getting a better deal for the property. So it works in our favor. The rate eventually is going to come down. It might take a couple of years before they're in a position to refinance based on equity position, et cetera, but it's still a great time to buy.
So I'm going to throw out my thesis, and I did this on radio yesterday, and I want to get your thoughts on it, because I'm just a numbers guy, right? I don't go out there and I don't look at properties. Yeah, every once in a while I do, just for fun, but I'm not out there seeing them all the time. So my thesis yesterday, I did a full, basically a workshop. It'll be posted on all of our socials in the next couple of days. And I basically gave 3 different ways of selling a property without reducing the price. One of them was to say, okay, and you just mentioned a property that gave $100,000 price concession. And I said, I actually used $100,000 as my example yesterday on $1 million property. And I said, for $30,000, I can show you probably a 1.5% reduction in interest rate and save the buyer $140,000. In interest payments over the holding period. I use 13 years. I don't know what you're finding as far as people holding. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts about things like that?
I think we've got to be creative in these markets, and it is a conversation I have with each and every one of my sellers regarding ways to help buyers benefit from reducing their rate, buying down their rate, offering a concession in order to do that. Because look, all buyers are payment conscious.
Right.
That's at the end of the day, they're payment conscious. If you're talking about a rate that went at the beginning of the year 3.5% and it went to 7%, you're really doubling what their payment was for the same house.
Absolutely.
So if you're able to help them and buy down that rate, it gives them a little bit of ease, and also helps the buyer feel like they're getting something for their pain.
Well, and there's also another aspect to this, is about getting to know your customer. What are you doing with this purchase? Are you planning to flip it? Are you, what is the end goal? Are you going to be here for 10 years?
Right.
If you're going to be here for 10 years, then it's the creative financing. There's other aspects to say, let's help you get into this. But if you're just coming in to rip out the flooring in the kitchen, we need to work on price then. So
It's interesting you say that, because there's a person that I work with who basically just said the exact same thing. He actually said to me, he said, "Hey, Ron, I just want private money."
Yeah.
He said, "You know something? I don't care if I'm paying 7%, 8%, 9%.
It's temporary.
I'm
it's temporary.
gonna only be
Yeah.
keeping it, maybe 4 months."
Right.
But when you're in the situation and someone's like, well, should I really put this down? Should I put this offer in to buy this house? Do you think it's going to fall even more? Should I wait till next year, June? It falls another 50,000. How long are you going to live here? Well, probably 10 years. What does it matter? It'll go up 200,000 in 10 years. So, this.
So 50,000, if my math is correct, over 10 years, is that $500 a month?
Yeah.
Is it? I think that's the right
So
number.
why would you,
Right,
if
it's
this
not a
is the
big
house
issue.
that you love for you and your family and getting to know your customer, and the school is right and the area is right, and this is where you want to move from wherever you're coming from to here, why wouldn't you? Don't worry about it. It'll change. The whole industry will change.
So we're going to talk about that more. Getting to know your customers, suitability, the client consultation. But before the break, Sean brought up a great point, and I'm not sure that we spend enough time talking about this. And the issue is consultations. You're talking to a real estate professional. Now, I know your best friend's dog walker got a real estate license, and they're now the expert in the market. And they know everything that you want and everything that you need. Well, I think I've got a friend here that might have told us something about that.
You know better than that.
Exactly. So what you need to do is talk to a professional. Tell me about your process of helping either a buyer or a seller. Does it include a consultation, or do you just go and start showing properties the day they call you?
No.
Sean, no one can hear you shake your head. We're on radio.
Oh, that's right. No,
I'll let you start.
I'm going to let Kellee answer that one.
So, especially when it comes, we're primarily listing agents. We do work with buyers, obviously, but
hopefully somebody's going to buy those listings.
People do buy the listings. The consultation is really, it's listening to the seller's needs, what their end game is, if they're wanting to sell because they're wanting to upgrade their home, the reasons for them selling, timing for them selling. And look, we always tell, we don't have a crystal ball. We work with the data that we have on a daily basis. And right now, when we're sitting down with sellers, we're saying, right now is if you're wanting to make a decision to purchase a home, you need to sell. Of course, you sell high, you buy high, you sell lower, you buy lower. So there's a benefit, but really,
does it matter? So the issue becomes, one of the things I always question or comment on, if you're a buying and selling, right? If you're one of those weird people that want a roof over your head as opposed to canvas, right? The market that you're in is the market that you're in both sides.
Always.
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, you're not going to buy high and sell low, buy low and sell high, because the market is the market.
But we did have quite a few sellers sell high and rent.
Yeah.
Okay.
They sat on their money.
And we have a property
And they're still
management
sitting on their money.
division. So it was kind of nice to move them into our rental properties, but they were literally, we're going to sell high, have our money handy. So when the market does turn, we have the potential of buying, maybe one property at a discounted price, or several if we want.
So you've been doing this for a day or two.
Yeah.
26 years. Yes.
26 years. Started at 3.
Yes.
Okay. So do you see very many people that can really time the market?
No, not too many.
Right. So if they're going to go they're going to get out of the market, and they're going to go out there and they're going to put their money on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Because they've got a crystal ball. You're the professional. You don't have the crystal ball.
Right.
And they're going to sit on the sidelines waiting for the market to go down significantly and miss out on what John Paulson did, because, he's the head of one of the biggest banks in the country and he can't figure it out. But me as a single family residence owner, I know better. Does that make much sense?
It doesn't make any sense, but
we got to do what the client wants.
But we got to do what the client wants. And, we have a significant amount of clients that actually moved out of state.
Okay.
Because they were able to sell high in California and replace their primary residence with maybe double the square footage or larger land, or
sure.
And we're able to buy a nicer property somewhere out of state, out of California. And they were trying to time the market as well. Now, of course, the Idaho, Tennessee, Texas, they don't want Californians. So they're not really welcome when they do move.
Exactly.
But yeah, when we sit down and we're consulting with the sellers or the buyers, the big deal is we don't have a crystal ball. We're going to use the data that we have and experience that we know, going back and over the years what has taken place, and every market's a little bit different.
And it's also about running hypotheticals too. When you're sitting with someone that's selling and you're saying, look, the market just changed. It was 3-4%. Now it's 7%. What if it goes to 9%? What are your thoughts are that you're going to buy? What are you trying to achieve with the money that you're pulling out and the monthly that you want? Because if you're not paying attention to this, we're not CPAs, we're not tax people, we don't do money, but we can tell you that if you need to afford $2,800 to $4,000 a month, and that payment's going to adjust across these interest rates, where are you? Where do you land in this? So we really lead them into understanding. And of course, if we're the listing agent, it's all about pricing it right. We have to know our market. We have to know our local market so that we're not going back to our sellers and saying to them, hey, we got to drop it again. Hey, we got to drop it again. No way. No way.
Yeah, that's the. What does that mean when you drop it again? What is that telling the marketplace?
Yeah.
That's for you to tap on. Josh gets mad at me when we tap on the table
Oh,
because he hears it.
sorry, Josh. There's no tequila.
All right, that's the problem, and that's just coffee he's drinking. So, what is it telling the marketplace when you continually dropping the price?
Well, it's out of desperation. There are some people who have to sell. We've got a listing right now that is, the owner had passed, and they are in a position they have to sell. So, they're doing a little bit of chasing the market, if you will. But yeah, it looks desperate.
Right, and whenever there's desperation, the sharks in the water start circling.
Right.
Yeah, it impacts the entire neighborhood or the other area as well. So.
Well, explain that part. How does that impact the neighborhood?
Because if there's others that are thinking about selling and you're at 600 and it just dropped to 550, okay, that's a $50,000 loss. What's the difference? What's the difference between each the property, the improvements to the land? This one has a pool. Why is this 550? I don't have a pool. What am I going to sell it now? 520? 510.
So the neighbors all
yes,
snowball.
it starts this process. When I first bought a home in Aliso Viejo, I had the neighbors walk over because I bought a short sale.
Okay.
And they walked over and they were cursing at me. You know what you just did to our home value? You're a jerk. That was my introduction to the neighborhood. So
isn't that nice? Well, welcome home.
Yeah, welcome. Well, they had lost almost $200,000. I just buried that whole entire neighborhood.
Wow.
So this is happening. If real estate agents don't understand the impact and they're chasing the market, they're also affecting the neighborhood.
The timing is critical because you list a property, you price it right. The buyers, there's kind of an equilibrium taking place right now because there's a little less inventory than there was even a month ago, and the buyers are, we price a property correctly, and the buyers are still making a $25,000-$50,000 offer, reduced offer. So you drop the price, they're still doing the same thing. Everybody's trying to get a deal right now.
Interesting. I want to talk to you about the negotiation-based offers because we kind of got away from that a little bit.
Right.
But I want to talk to you about that when we come back. Continuing our conversation, we're chatting with Kellee and Sean Malone, chatting real estate this morning. And it's fun when I have professionals come in here and I can chat because I don't have to talk as much. I know some of you like that better, but I want to chat with you a little bit because we started talking before the break. In the last couple of years, the price that a property was listed at almost all the time, from my perspective, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, was pretty much a floor, right? You list a property and you get 700 bids in the next 20 minutes, so to speak, and the price goes up.
Right.
Is it that way now?
No. Multiple
Overnight.
bids.
Within 60 days.
It changed. So we went from 20 offers in a day, which is actual, to now, the seller's sitting on the market 30, 60, 90 days. You're lucky to get, 15 showings, 20 showings. And, open houses, you can have an open house and nobody shows up, where before you had to line out the door. You had to,
Is that the market? Is that the financial environment, or is that the season?
It's all of the above. It's all of the above. It definitely is a market. And we're in the season where things slow down. So, not come to a complete halt, but slow down. and we are experiencing, sellers who, if they feel desperate, will drop their price because they have to sell. And we're a norm. They're looking at the beginning of the year thinking, well, I could have sold this in a day, right? Well, the market has changed, so now it's they lose patience very quickly, and then they get scared that they're not going to sell it at all.
So some of them, until they get that consult with you, might have unrealistic expectations.
Correct.
And you've got to educate them on that.
Yes.
Now, on my broadcast yesterday, when I did the workshop that we talked about earlier in the program, if you missed it, sorry. But I also talked about a mutual friend of ours who promotes the idea that real estate agents are human, and like most humans, are in a capitalistic society, are willing to work for money.
Yes.
And might even work harder for more money.
Right.
And want to make more money. That's why we do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, profit is a good word. I mean, contrary to some people in Washington, profit is a good word. I shared yesterday, and I did a walkthrough on the idea, because some of the stations that I'm on, they like to promote these ideas of a cut rate brokers or flat rate brokers, or people that think that that all that you have to do is put a property on the MLS and it sells. And I shared the idea of using the commission being paid to the agent as a marketing incentive for the agent to work harder.
Right.
Do you see that as working, or is it, the radio guy that just talks for the reason of talking?
I think it can work. It doesn't work in all circumstances.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a place. So it's interesting that you say that, because it takes me back to something that you and I talked about, Kellee, before we went on air. It's the idea of understanding the basics,
right,
and getting back to knowing your craft.
Knowing your craft and being in it every day, knowing your stats, being in the real estate news. You mentioned a great website earlier. Every single day you should be in the MLS, realtor.com, NAR, DS News, Inman, finding out the details about what's going on a macro and microeconomic level when it comes to housing and how it pertains to you and your clients. You can't provide them information otherwise.
Yeah, and you and I both use a service called Altos Research.
Altos Research, yes.
Right, because they get about as granular as I know.
Yes.
I mean, I know you use them, so you must not have anything better than them. Otherwise,
we compare it with list reports, and
okay.
they're pretty on par. They do differ in some things. List reports tends to be a little less conservative, a little more optimistic, I think, in their numbers. But Altos Reports seems to be dead on for me.
Yeah. So there's another issue. The question is, do you think the dog walker's friend is doing all these things after 26 years, to continually hone their craft?
No, they're in it. And, what we're going to see is a sifting of agents. We're going to definitely lose a bunch of agents in this market who do not take their career seriously. We are full-time agents. We live, eat, breathe real estate, 24/7. And
you've probably been talking to the waitress at the restaurant about real estate.
Oh gosh,
there's no difference.
Sean talks to everybody about real estate.
There's no difference between Tuesday, Saturday. It doesn't matter.
It's the day that ends in Y.
7 days a week, real estate.
10
all
o'clock
the time.
at night.
7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. We were up till last night, 10 o'clock, working on 2 deals. It never ever ends. You got to be an advocate too for your clients, and that's one of the big things about Purple Bricks, Open Door, that whatever. Yeah, like Kellee stated, that house in the corner that sat vacant because they moved out of state and they're trying to sell and they just need to dump it, whatever. And they don't really care that they lost $50,000 on the difference of the cost because Open Door sold it for them. Great, congratulations, it sold. But then the person that bought it turns around and either sells it for a profit or has a huge loss on it because it wasn't priced right. And there's a leak. There's a slab leak that your real estate agent is there to protect you. Is supposed to be fighting for you, and that's what we do for our clients and teach our agents to do as well.
That's an interesting concept, right? Because the whole issue with the real estate agent, and again, tell me if I'm wrong, I say that you don't need a real estate agent to find a house. You need the real estate agent to guide you on the path of acquiring or selling a house.
Yep.
Contract to close is really, and you're not getting, as an agent, you're not getting paid for what you're doing right now. You're getting paid for 26 years worth of experience.
Correct. And that's the difference is having the experience. Negotiating is the the key right now, being able to negotiate on behalf of the seller and the buyer, because you're negotiating on behalf of the seller, obviously to get them the maximum amount that they for their property in the shortest amount of time, but also teaching them this is what you have to put on your buyer eyes, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller. What do the buyers need? How best do we sell this house? What do we need to offer when it comes to like some sort of a credit towards their closing costs or towards their interest rate buy down, which I mean, that's a hot topic right now.
Sure. And most people are just self-serving. Most people are doing them the wrong way because they're doing the temporary, which doesn't help somebody
Right.
long term. It doesn't help them continue to for qualification purposes. So here's the challenge then. So I've been using, I've got a dog and I love dogs and I walk my dog and all that stuff. So don't get mad at me that I'm a dog lover. So the dog walker that's getting into real estate, what do they need? How do they get into this industry? Because it is a great industry without having all that experience. How do they get in? Or can you just, is there no entry level?
Well, of course.
There is no barrier to entry other than you've got to pass a real estate test and you have your license and you go work for a broker. So that's the easy part. The hard part is having the guidance to know what you need to be doing every day, the activities it takes to meet your transaction goal so that you can make a living doing real estate every single day.
So are there programs where people go to get training, or how does that part work?
There are. So we have the Real Estate Academy, which we offer. We do 3 to 4 times per year. And it's a 6-week program, 6 Saturdays consecutive from 9 to 2 p.m. And we literally walk the agents not only through the contract, which you need to know backwards, forward, start to finish, memorized, but also marketing, what it takes daily, your activities that you should be doing every single day to help you get business. So we break it down for each and every intern. We call them the interns because they're just getting started.
That's really what they are.
They're interns. Yeah. And so we break it down for them and we literally give them the tools necessary to make this their full-time career. That's it. We want them to have everything needed to make it their full-time career. And then, look, we don't give leads. I give leads to agents that are, my realtor.com and my Zillow people. I will give them leads. They've earned the right to have those leads because they're good at what they do. But new agents, I don't give them leads. I throw them in at the deep end of the pool and see if they can swim. And
Sure.
Those people that can swim, they demonstrate, they not only pick up the ball, they run with it. I'll give them leads.
So it's an interesting way of doing business. And unfortunately, the industry from the legislative level, which I'm not a big fan of legislators anyway. You may have noticed
Me either.
that. Right.
Not
But
at all.
you're talking about, I think about this. Now, I don't have much hair, but the hair cutter that I used to go to had to have 1,800 hours of training.
Right.
And in real estate, pass the test and you can go out there and help somebody spend $500,000.
Right.
You could, yeah.
You are helping them
You've got every license in the world to do it, right?
a life decision, decision, and one of the most important decisions of anybody's life.
That's why we take it pretty seriously about being an advocate for our clients, is because this is serious. If we have horror stories, everyone does, about someone who is a for sale by owner, they made $100 million on their side. They think they know money. They have some, unscrupulous type of a person come in with a buyer, lays out the contract, sues them after. It just never ends, right? But they were the smartest person in the room and they sold their own home. We're here to protect them, and we're also here to train others how you can protect your clients. So, and there's a lot.
And how to make it get into a great career.
Yeah,
right. You wouldn't be doing it for as many years. I wouldn't be doing it this many years if it's not a very, very gratifying career.
Yeah, gratifying. Yes, we're passionate about what we do because we love helping people. And the thing is, having clients for life. We just did a client appreciation party where we had 116 people do an event where we said thank you.
These were agents and past clients.
Right?
And thank you so much for your business.
The clients that I think the most I've sold one particular client is 10 homes over 26 years. I've been the same agent every single time they list and they buy. So that's our goal. We want to be.
You can't retire on this next transaction.
Right. Yeah. We want to be the resource for life. That's our goal. So they contact us because they want the information, the up-to-date information about, is it a good time to sell? Is it a good time to buy?
Great information. If you want to meet Kellee and Sean Malone, either or, give me a call, 800-306. You can meet them both. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I'd be happy to put you in touch with them if you're looking to buy, sell, or get trained in the real estate world. Sounds like a great academy that they've got going there. Get trained. I mean, if you want to be in the industry, if you're going to help somebody with the money, with their biggest asset, their biggest liability, know what the heck you're doing. Take it seriously, not just this, I got a license, I can go do it. That's garbage.